Welcome to the Supplement Engineer Podcast. My name is Robert Chinetsky. Today we are joined by the co-founder of SteelFit, a sister company of Protan USA, Mr. Rob Kaufman. Thanks for being here today, Rob.
Thanks for having me, Robert. I'm looking forward to it.
And happy birthday. I just found out it's your birthday today. So thank you for sparing some time with us for your birthday. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Thank you. I just turned 29, so
29.
one more year, and then
Oh,
everyone's
wow,
telling me
man.
it's downhill from there, but I
Yeah.
think I'll maybe okay.
Oh, that's not real good. I'm 33, so that means I'm already on the back nine.
No, you're still in the front nine.
All right, man. Let's start with the origin story here. So, how did you get into this industry? Obviously, your dad has been an active figure in the sports nutrition industry for a long time with Protan. So you've kind of probably always grown up around the industry. So let's walk us through how you got into this and what led to the founding of SteelFit.
Definitely. So it's actually a pretty long story. I'll try and condense it the best that I can.
Sure, take
So
your time.
actually, yeah, coming out of college, I never thought I was going to work with my father.
Hmm.
I had known he had done Protan. I didn't know how much of an icon and pioneer though he was in the industry, but I always wanted to do my own thing. So I graduated, went up to New York, tried a few startup jobs. It just wasn't for me. The opportunity came around. So I came, joined the family business for Protan. We were doing well. I enjoyed it. Protan is great, but it just really wasn't my passion. I still love it, but it wasn't like getting me out of bed to go to work every day, if you know what I mean. So my father's been in the cosmetics for a while. He was manufacturing creams for a couple other people in the industry in those times. And the FDA and all the regulations were becoming really strict. And these companies just didn't really want to put the proper ingredients in there to make the claims that they were doing. So we saw an entry point for topicals. We said, look, we have Protan, we have a great brand, we have a great name and reputation. We're going to come out with our own line of topicals. So we actually originally launched the topicals, the Abs of Steel and Buns of Steel, under our original Muscle Up, which is our Protan brand. Mm-hmm. Things were going well. Everything was going great. We flew one of our Protan athletes out to LA to do a video shoot with the Abs of Steel. He was actually sponsored with another supplement company. So we go out there, we spend a couple of days filming this amazing video to sort of like launch the creams mainstream. And right before I fly back home, I get a text from him saying, I feel so bad. Unfortunately, my sponsor isn't going to allow me to do this because they might have a fat burning cream in the pipeline 5, 10, 15 years down the road.
Oh, no.
So that was the aha moment when we're like, you know what, we're onto something with these creams. They work, but we can't do it under the Protan brand because, look, any athlete can be a Protan athlete. It doesn't conflict with any other sponsorship that they may have. Mm-hmm. But once you start doing fat burners and stuff like that, there was a little gray area. So we were back and forth, like, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? And we finally decided to pull the trigger. And that's when SteelFit was born. Mm-hmm. So it started off with just the Abs and Buns of Steel. And then I always knew I wanted to do supplements. I just didn't know when we were going to do it or how far along in the brand it was going to happen. Yeah. So we had the creams. They were going for about 1.5 years, 2 years. And they had got a really great reputation with the fitness community. Mm-hmm. A lot of the competitors, all the Olympians were using them. And we said, you know what? We've built a name for ourselves with this. I think it's time to take it to the next step. So Protan had always been everything focused around contest. And we actually had a diuretic under the Protan brand, mm-hmm. which is called No H2O. It's like, yeah, No H2O. Great name. And we're like, you know what? I think this could be a nice little subtle introduction into the supplements without mm-hmm. having to do anything mainstream. It gives us our first pill, our first supplement, and we already have a proven formula that works. Yeah. So we rebranded our No H2O to what is now our Hydra Steel, and that was our first quote unquote supplement. So that's really what started getting us into the supplement industry. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it's just rocking and rolling. It's been nonstop.
Fantastic. Now, is there a big difference? Can you explain for the consumers that may not understand, what are some of the differences and challenges that go into formulating and manufacturing a cream versus a pill or powder?
Well, regulations right off the bat. Mm-hmm. The creams are cosmetics, so they're not really looked at by the FDA or as a food or drug supplement. But it's just the creams. There's not many ingredients out there that work. So when you find the ones that do, you pay a nice premium for them, but you give the consumer a product that you can put your name behind and you know that's going to work. So we have good relationships with chemical manufacturers. Like my dad's been doing this since he was 19. I'm not going to say how old he is now because he might get a little mad at me, but he's been doing it for a long time. So luckily, he's set the foundation so that we have these connections for the cosmetic side. So whenever there's a new ingredient that our manufacturers been researching, working on, they send it over to us first to go through it.
Yeah.
And they give us like first right basically for these ingredients, which is very good. I mean, if you look at our packaging, we have our coaxial on our Abdisteel and our Intense Slim on our Bunzisteel. So these are all clinically researched ingredients by our manufacturer, our raw material supplier, I mean.
Right.
And we actually manufacture the creams ourselves down here in South Florida. So we have full control over that, which is really great.
Yeah.
But it's just, we get a lot of white papers, a lot of data to read through. And some of the stuff is great, but then the marketing would be really pushing the level. And sometimes it's just a little too much education. Even with the creams nowadays, we'll get a lot of negative comments like snake oil, etc. Just people they knock it, but they haven't tried it yet.
Right.
So the education, I think, is the hardest part for the creams because it is relatively new. I mean, there have been creams around for a long time. I know back in the 80s, before my time, they had the thiamucase, which was big. We actually tried to replicate that before we did the Abdisteel for Protan, but the ingredient is just so dangerous to work with that we couldn't do it. I mean, if you're manufacturing that and you inhale it in your lungs, it's not going to be good. So we scrapped that project and then we don't really want to be working on this. Supplements, like we were just saying, though, on the other hand, there's a lot more educational resources out there. People like yourself educate the consumers. You can go online, you can search ingredients that are in a pre-workout, a fat burner, and you can get tons of content to help validify your statement and your product. And what we do is we like to use a lot of patented and trademarked ingredients in our products. So we're using all the education and science and research that these suppliers have done on these raw materials to help further educate our consumers. So I think the education is the biggest difference between the topicals and then the supplements.
Okay. Do you find that consumers are more willing to trust a product and are willing to pay the premium that goes along with using the branded and the trademarked ingredients? Or do you see that as more of just as a precaution and a safety measure on your part?
I think if you were to ask me that question 5 years ago, I would say no. But I think the consumers nowadays are getting more educated. I mean, everybody has an encyclopedia on their phone.
Right.
So consumers know what's BS, what's bogus, and what's actually efficacious. And I think they can catch the fluff and the BS if you try and produce a product that just doesn't meet standards that people are expecting nowadays. Most companies like ourselves have gone away from the prop blends just because you want to show the consumer what they're actually ingesting in their body. I mean, it is a dietary supplement.
Right.
And I know that when we make everything, I just want to put the best ingredients in there because my wife takes it every day. I take it every day. My brother, my family, all my friends, I'm sending them free products. So it's like, I don't want to put an ingredient in there that I don't stand behind, like 110%.
What is your typical daily supplement regimen?
My daily supplement regimen, I actually use every one of our products except the Bunzisteel. That's what my wife is for. My supplement, I mean, I wake up, I'm up early, and my wife is up early at 3:30. She's at the gym when they open at 5. I stumble in a little later, about 5:36. But I'm up early, I have my coffee. I mix a scoop of either chocolate or vanilla whey in my coffee, get a little protein to start the day. And then before I go to the gym, mix the pump, which is a pre-workout with our Steel Sweat, just a little more thermogenesis going on. Get home, I'm taking the shredded steel, the steel core, sipping on the BCAAs throughout the day.
Whoa.
And then at night, not every night, but most nights I'll take the Steel Dreams just because you know how it is when you're working all day. Sometimes it's just hard to shut down.
Yeah.
So I literally stand behind and use every single one of our products every day. I will cycle off the fat burners, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say,
running.
That's a
running those
lot of
all the time.
caffeine you're going in there for day. I was thinking, you got coffee, you got the pre-workout, you got Steel Sweat, which has got another 100 milligrams. So right now we're
Yeah,
approaching 500 milligrams, and we're not even to noon yet. So I was gonna say,
I know. And then the him buying and everything. It's just like I don't know. I think my DNA is just different. It's just
yeah,
wired better. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I could take a lot of our supplements and be fine.
yeah. Do y'all find the creams tend to sell better with female consumers, or is it about 50-50 female male?
So actually, our demographic, we do have a lot of female buyers more than men.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's just because of the analytics. I know my wife does all the shopping
Yeah.
basically when we go buy online.
Hmm.
So I don't know if the women, the girlfriends, the wives are buying it for their significant others or their boyfriends. But we do tend to do really well with the females. I think they are more receptive to the creams.
Hmm.
Maybe because I mean they see results quicker with like the buns of steel because they're doing a lot more cardio, a lot more legs, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
we have a great response from everyone. But females definitely do tend to go to the creams more than males.
I think a part of it might also be they're used to dealing with makeup, so they might be more, uh, you know, more open to
More
using a cream
educated.
of something like that than just popping a scoop of something or a couple of pills. And something
Yeah.
else I found interesting, I was talking with the VP of sales over at OSnap Nutrition, a like a Rice Krispie like protein bar company.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yep.
And he said 75% of all protein bar sales are typically women. So I think that bolsters your point where you're saying the girls are probably doing a lot more of the shopping than the guys are. So that when he said that, I figured there's no way that can't be right. And I figured, a guy's just as likely to go run into a GNC or Vitamin Shop, grab a protein bar on the way to or from the gym, and then be on the way. But I guess not, apparently.
That's what I tell myself. Just because I can't wrap my head around it either.
Yeah.
But that's what the numbers are showing. I guess even in the protein bars across the board in this industry, it seems like there's a lot more female
Mhm.
buyers.
Oh, y'all started with the creams, and then y'all did the natural diuretic. And since then,
Yep.
we've seen I'm sorry, a basics line with the creatine monohydrate powder. We've seen a pump pre-workout, which is also included of stimulants, and a few powdered fat burner. There we go. I'm talking faster than
Yeah.
my brain's processing. What goes into deciding when you're going to release a product? What kind of category the product's going to fall into?
So we like to do unique products.
Hmm.
Like the creams, I think are very unique. I mean, there are some competitors out there, but I know what goes in their formula, and I stand behind it 100%. I really like get out of bed and have fun formulating the products like the shredded steel or
Hmm.
steel sweat, which is like my personal favorite product.
Yeah.
Of course, to be a full supplement line, you have to have the proteins and the BCAAs. Those are like Me Too products,
Hmm.
in my opinion, just to complete the brand. Because we do work with a lot of trainers and internationally, and they want all of that. But we're very lucky, like I said, with my father's connections. A family friend of ours is actually an IFBB professional. He's an orthopedic surgeon, and he was on the board for a very big nutritional company, as
Wow.
well as being a scientist. So we actually work hand in hand with him to formulate all of our products.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's really great. He's like an encyclopedia of knowledge, just like yourself.
Hmm.
So we work with him to formulate our unique products.
Hmm.
He goes through all the clinicals, the white papers on even other Summit branded ingredients, and will debunk them and tell us, look, you should really do this. He also spots trends in the industry
Hmm.
based on his insights, which is really great. So we've been fortunate with that. But we started off launching like the steel core, the fat burner, which went with the creams and the diuretic. We were always towards a competitor first.
Hmm.
So like we had the abs, buns of steel, the guns of steel, which is a topical workout enhancer for like your pump.
Yeah.
Then we had the hydro steel, and then our next supplement was a steel core, always going towards the competitor.
Hmm.
But as we were evolving, we were seeing more general consumers, health and wellness enthusiasts that were buying our products. So
Hmm.
that's when we really started to get into the BCAs and some of the more mainstream products.
Hmm.
But we just try and go with the flow. I go to the Supply Side West every year, see what's up with the new ingredients, look at the market trends. Obviously, this year we launched our fat burner in January. That was timed with like New Year's resolutions and everything like that.
Yep.
So we do try and put a little strategy behind our
Yeah.
launches.
Yeah.
We've pushed a lot of stuff back just because we didn't feel like the moment was right.
Hmm.
But obviously, and then you have the Arnold and the Olympia, where sort of like you're expected in this industry to launch something new.
Yeah.
So this year we actually didn't launch anything new with the Arnold because we didn't want to rush it. We weren't done and we weren't 100% happy with the formula and ready to manufacture it.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see launches at this Olympia for a couple of new products, and then we'll just trickle stuff out slowly throughout the year when it's appropriate.
Are there more flavors in the works as well for the existing products? I guess in
Yeah,
regards to the BCAAs, the pre-workout, and the proteins.
yeah. So we started off with pretty basic flavors
Mm-hmm.
for the aminos and the pump. We got your blue raspberry, your grape soda, your watermelon lemonade. We didn't really want to push the limit with these crazy things in the beginning. We want to establish the quality, the flavor, and get people really hooked on it.
Mm-hmm.
We do have another flavor lined up for the pump and the fuel. We're working on finalizing that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we launched our Steel Sweat in three flavors,
Mm-hmm.
and our top, they're all doing really great. For our top performer, we're going to be turning that into our next pump and fuel flavor, so people can stack it easily, because that's like a great product, the Sweat, if you want to throw some BCAs in there as well.
Yeah.
So that's how we're doing it. Protein, got another new flavor coming out, hopefully in a couple months, but we're just going slow. I think having 7, 10 SKUs of different flavors for a product,
Yeah.
for us right now, would just be like a kiss of death. It's just too much to manage. I like to give people a few options that are great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want one flavor that's subpar and then have 8 others that are amazing, you know?
Yeah. Have y'all noticed the trend? It seems like a lot of companies are doing the limited edition releases where they'll release one version of either a pre-workout or a fat burner, and they'll only run like 1,000 units of it, and then once that's all sold out, then they'll go and reformulate and make some other product and do that. Do you see that being the trend of the industry to go to where it's everything nowadays is limited release, and you can't really rely on those tried and true products to always be there?
We talking about flavors or products?
Both. I mean, I've seen a little bit of both where the flavors will be the exact same formula and they'll just cycle through new flavors just depending on what the
Yeah.
season is. So we'll see like a pumpkin pie flavor show up in proteins or pre-workouts or whatever, around October, November timeframe. But I'm talking about limited edition release products, things like Olympus Labs does it, Blocks does it, and a few other companies will do these small single batch releases. And Ghost has done it a
Hmm.
few times with one of their athletes where they do a little tandem thing where they'll release a
Yeah.
special version of the formula. Do you see the industry headed more in that direction, or where you're sticking by, hey, this is our flagship product, and we may do a special flavor here and there, but we're always going to have the same kind of formulations with our products?
So I do see the industry going towards that,
Mm-hmm.
but like you just mentioned with the latter, our company is not ever going to do that. We're going to
Yeah.
formulate our products, have a try and true formula that works,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like you said, we might do special limited edition flavors, especially when the holidays are coming around. That's one of our goals for this year,
Mm-hmm.
around Halloween and the holidays, to actually do some limited edition flavors.
Yeah.
And if they're good, we'll bring them back. But I would never spend all my time formulating a great product just to sell 1,000 units and then have people demand it and not offer it again. I don't really see the point
Yeah.
of that.
How long
You know?
how long is a product in development before y'all actually pull the trigger on it and release it to the masses?
It could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. We've been working on some of our products that we're going to be launching probably at this year's Olympia
Yeah.
since last December. So a lot goes into it. Yeah.
That's is the you said the guy that the doctor that y'all have on staff that y'all co-formulate with, is he in-house with y'all, or is he in a consultant role where y'all can you walk down the hall and knock on his door and say, hey, what do you think of this lineup of ingredients, or how does that work with to go back and forth with him?
No, he's more of a consultant role.
Yeah.
He's remote. He's in a different state, but he's very busy, obviously being an orthopedic surgeon. But our line of communication is always open, and he's always very receptive. So that really doesn't. That's not what really delays the process. It's just always, as you know, there's always a new ingredient coming out or a new study,
Mm-hmm.
and then sometimes the flavoring for some of these products is what really delays it, because you want to get it perfect, and some of these ingredients are very hard to mask. Like our Sweat, I love the flavor,
Yeah.
but man, it still is a kick from it. You can't mask that.
Yeah,
You can't mask it. And
I just tried another scoop of the spicy strawberry mango this past weekend, and man, that thing, it dances on your tongue for a while. It's got some serious bite to it, but in a good way. It wakes
yeah,
you up, and you get the sweetness, but then there's that little fire on the back of your mouth, that just kind of
yeah.
lingers there in a good way.
No, yeah. Like I told you, you're privy to it. I'll put it on this podcast. We're going to be launching a multivitamin powder in
Hmm.
the next month or so. And I will say that flavoring has been pretty complex because with some of these vitamins, vitamin B, thiamine, stuff like that,
Hmm.
it's just very pungent. And so stuff like that takes a while.
Yeah.
But I don't need to rush anything. We're in no rush. We're just like trusting the process, you know?
Hmm. What was the methodology behind formulating Steel Pump? Because you've got a good mix of nootropics in there. You've got some stimulants. You've got some pumping agents in there. So what? I mean, was this crafted off what you personally want in a pre-workout, or was this kind of what you were seeing consumers really demanded? How was the thinking behind it?
A little bit of both. So, like I said, we were with our consultant, and he gave his initial thoughts for us.
Hmm.
So, the best thing about working with him is we'll tell him what we want to do and where our ideas are. So, he sort of creates like the problem, and then his formula is the solution to that problem. So, we
Yeah.
wanted to create a pre workout that not only gave you endurance and focus and a decent pump,
Hmm.
but we didn't want you to be cracked out. We didn't want you to crash. We didn't want you to be scratching your skin, feeling like you're gonna like rip your eyes out, you know?
Yeah.
And back in the days, and even sometimes still today, you see some of these pre-workouts that are loaded with just so much stuff
Hmm.
that's I think is just more of a buzzword or just to give you like a quick feel,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really last. When I take our pre-workout, I mean, I have a nice workout. I could be at the gym for 3 hours and still have my same endurance and
Hmm.
focus, which is what I pride myself on with our formulas.
Yeah. I met you for the first time at the Arnold this past March, and I didn't realize how big you were. Height wise, size wise, I felt, especially because your dad's fairly tall, you're tall, and your brother is
My
tall too.
brother's
And I mean, I
really
felt
tall.
really,
Yeah,
really short at the SteelFit booth at the Arnold. So I mean,
that's too
is
funny.
that just what does your training consist of?
So growing up, I did play sports. I never played football
Hmm.
just because my mom, she just wouldn't let me. She was afraid I was gonna get injured or something. So I always played
Yeah.
like basketball
Hmm.
growing up. I actually played a year of basketball up in a D3 school called Carnegie Mellon up in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
So growing up, everything was compound movements, squats, deadlifts, everything like that. I never really focused on biceps or chest,
Yeah.
the more show muscles. And then when I left Carnegie Mellon, I went to Florida State,
Hmm.
and that's when I started working on the curls for the girls, as you could say. That then my training was totally different than what it is now. I think everybody when you're younger,
Hmm.
you train incorrect, and I see a lot of people at our gym, a lot of young kids right now. I just want to help them and give them some advice.
Yeah.
But my training is great. I actually work with a family friend
Hmm.
who's he's not only a dietitian but a trainer, and he actually coaches a lot of athletes.
Hmm.
So I did a show for the brand, my first and only show.
Hmm.
I competed in men's physique a couple years ago, and he wrote my diet and my training program.
Cool.
So I've just been working with him ever since. So every
Hmm.
12 weeks I get a new plan. I like to switch it up. So a lot of compound movements, a lot of cardio, but it's all good. I enjoy it.
Is it like an upper lower split total body workouts, or do you kind of rotate between depending on which the 12-week cycle is at that point, or do you ever do a bro split?
Bro split.
Yeah.
No, it cycles based on my goals. Like we had our transformation challenge for SteelFit that just ended a
Hmm.
couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I was traveling so much, and the last 10 days of the transformation challenge, I was in Australia, and it sort of just threw it all out of whack.
Yeah.
So back then, I was doing more high reps,
Hmm.
lighter weight to try and get more cut up. So then I put on all the weight that I lost over those 10 days in Australia. So now I got a new plan I just started this week where focusing more on building upper body muscle
Hmm.
and then trying to lean down from that.
Cool. How is
Yeah.
the food in Australia? I have not ventured down under yet.
The food, it's great. I mean,
Is it?
it's
Yeah.
not much different than here. I did go to Chinatown, and that was an experience. The food there was different. I think it's very authentic. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, you're getting
Yeah.
coxcombs and chicken feet and all kinds of interesting. You wouldn't figure there's a Chinatown in Australia, but I guess there's probably one in every country.
Yeah, well, actually, Australia, you have a lot of good food options because, I
Hmm.
mean, it's sort of out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a continent and a country in the middle of basically the ocean.
Right.
But you get the best chefs from Italy, the best chefs from Thailand, the best chefs from China that all come to Australia to start
Oh.
a business over there. So the hotel that we're staying at was right on like the strip downtown with a casino. So it had a lot of good restaurants with some good chefs.
Very cool.
And they got good candy too, which is probably why I put on a couple
Oh,
pounds. They
nice.
got like flavors over there that you don't even see in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your day-to-day routine like with the brand? What do you, since you're one of the co-founders, so obviously you're doing a lot of the high-level stuff. So, but what's a typical day like for you?
Typical day. Our office, we have about 15 employees in our office and our warehouse combined. But the SteelFit is actually a very like core group of us. It's my father, it's me, it's our sales manager, and then we have our social media and athlete manager. So we work together on a daily basis. And then we have a third-party marketing team that's about 30 minutes from us in Boca Raton that I'm always on the phone with every day. So day to day is just operating the website, managing the website, always looking for improvements for customer experience. I actually learned how to develop our website. So everything was built. I built it ourselves, which
Fancy.
is good. It's good to be in control of it. At least for me, I like to be able to make changes on the fly and not always have to reach out to someone. We're actually just hiring our first full-time customer service rep. The brand's starting in a couple of weeks because the customer service, the phone calls and the emails were really eating into my time.
Yeah.
Trying to develop like the bigger picture. So a typical day is just website, customer service, working with our marketing company, strategizing with our social media manager, and then just always reading and trying to figure out what the next product is going to be like.
Y'all, since y'all manufacture the creams in-house, have y'all given any thought to manufacturing, bringing in the rest of the line in-house and doing all of your own manufacturing?
No. So like I said, based on the connections with my father,
Yeah.
We have a very good family friend that's in the manufacturing business that I trust. Like he's a great family friend and he's a great manufacturer. He's a great partner. I call him our partner because he's not just our manufacturer.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like a partnership, the way we work together. He's 15 minutes away from us.
Okay.
So I have a very hands-on experience with everything. He'll stop by our office, drop off samples. I'll visit his team, make sure everything's going well. So I have full access to their facility whenever I want it, which is really helpful for me in helping and building the brand.
Gotcha. Is there, how do y'all try to market the two brands? Do they all do, do you find synergism between Protan and SteelFit, or is it, you approach it as two separate entities and geared to two different demographics?
So we do look at it as two separate entities, but with like a common demographic being the fitness competitors. We do market our creams through Protan every now and then through our social media, but I don't really want to cross the threshold of pushing the supplements through the Protan line. Yeah. Because I just feel like I don't want to cross the line there. The creams are something all the competitors use anyways. So it goes hand in hand with someone that's competing to use our topical fat burning creams. Yeah. But I don't like to push the supplements through the Protan brand. I think it's just causes a little confusion.
Gotcha. We've seen keto be one of the real big trends in the past year and a half, 2 years. Within the industry, and an explosion of BHB salts, this and ketone esters, and fat fueled proteins and all that stuff. Do you envision SteelFit ever joining the ranks of the keto supplement lines, or do you think the keto fad is here to stay?
So last year when keto was really blowing up, we had a meeting and we're like, we need to come out with a keto product, like it's hot right now. But then we sort of took a step back and said, that's not like us. We don't want to just rush into something just to join the keto revolution, if you want to call it that. Yeah. But it's still going really strong. I don't think it's going anywhere, but we're probably we'll get into it in some aspect. We're coming out with a pure steel edition that's just going to be plain Go MCT powder, and that'll be basically our stepping stone into it. I'm not saying that we would ever close the books on like the full keto pre-workout or protein or something like that, right? But just for this year, it's just not in our agenda.
Makes sense. Have you ever experimented with keto diets or anything like that?
keto diet 100%. I have experience with the BHB salts.
Hmm.
I did do some intermittent fasting for a little.
Yeah.
So I would take those in the morning before I train, and
Hmm.
then have my first meal at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I've ever done in that realm. I mean, eating fat all the time sounds amazing to me, but I just don't know how my body would handle it, to be honest.
How was your experience with the BHB salts? Because when I take them, I get a very like a neural charge. My brain feels almost electrified in the few instances I've tried it. So what were your experiences with them?
I actually had a great experience using it. I would say it probably took 5 to 7 days for me to really start to have that like mental clarity,
Hmm.
because the first few days when you go from eating all the time, having your first meal at 5 a.m. to not eating until 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
you're sort of dragging your stomach, rumbling. You're like, why am I doing this? And but then after that, I mean, I would take the salts, I'd work out, and then around like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., I would just have more energy and more focus than ever before. It was actually really great.
Hmm.
We went on our honeymoon, which threw off my whole intermittent fasting, and then I just haven't been back
Yeah.
down that road since.
How long have you and the missus been married?
It was a year in February,
Oh wow!
so
Congratulations. So
yeah, a
y'all are.
little over a year. Thank you.
We're saying and I were coming up on 10 years in July. So
Oh, that's congratulations to you.
yeah, that's we're trying to figure out what we want to do. We think we might be heading up to Baltimore or Maryland or something like that.
Yeah.
For a trip because there's supposed to be a huge craft brewery movement. We've got a family friend that's from Baltimore, and he was telling us all about the craft brewery scene there and the restaurants and all that. So that's what we're gonna have to go and try. I think we'll probably book that in the next month or so.
Well, if you ever come down to South Florida, I got to take you to Funky Buddha, which is in our backyard,
Funky
which
Buddha,
is a huge craft brewery down
really?
here.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That's what we have
Oh, it's
never.
amazing.
I have never been to the Boca area. My uncle just moved to. Where did he move? Somewhere in down way south. He used to live in southern Louisiana, like where the rest of my family is from, but he retired
Yeah.
from the oil and gas industry and said, "I'm getting the hell out of here. I want to live near the beach all the time." And so he went down to South Florida, and him and my aunt go out on their pontoon boat every day and take the jet skis and just live retired life. And he's not even that old. I mean, he's in his mid-50s, mid to late 50s, so it's living
That's
the
awesome.
life
Actually,
already.
one of my goals, obviously not now, but down the line, I would love to have my own craft brewery. I think
Yeah.
a lot of the aspects in the supplement industry go into the
Hmm.
brewery, formulating a product, coming up with good names, good packaging, good design, and creating a whole story. So that's one of my passions actually as well.
Yeah. Have you messed around with any home brewing so far?
I haven't. I mean, I've wanted to pull the trigger on those kits a couple times. It's
Hmm.
just, I'm like, $180 for this kit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ever going to use it.
It's an
When
expensive
the time's
oopsie.
right, yeah. When the time's right, I'll get it.
What are your favorite kind of beers to drink?
I'm not a fan of dark beers. I do like the light beers. I know you're a dark beer guy, right?
Yeah, stouts and porters and ambers. Anything lighter than that,
Yeah.
and you're a virgin to the side of the spectrum that I'm not a fan of as much.
I mean, if you drop some Baileys in it, I guess I can have a couple on St.
There we
Patrick's
go.
Day. But no, I like I like the fruity beers. I like a lot of ones that are infused with like guava and tropical stuff. I like
Hmm.
trying all those out.
Well, you're down in South Florida, so that makes a little bit more sense. I mean, it's hot down there. You need something cool and refreshing, so
Yeah,
that
exactly.
works. We've got a craft brewery down here called Live Oak, and they do a Berliner Weiss, which is kind of like a. Have you ever had a sour beer?
I haven't, but actually, my brother is a big beer connoisseur.
Yeah.
The little brother that you met, and he just brought me 3 different craft beers for my birthday today, and one
Hmm.
of them is a sour. So I'll be trying that out this weekend.
Let me know what your reaction to it is. Sandy loves them. I don't like them. I mean, it tastes like spoiled beer to me, but she loves them. And there is a brewery here that specializes in sour beers, and you can put these different kind of flavored syrups. So they'll have like guava passion fruit and mango dragon fruit and all this other weird kind of stuff. So that's all kinds of stuff you can play with.
That's like up my alley. I don't know. I'll let you know how the sour beer is because he swears by them too, but I don't know. Just thinking about it, I don't know what to expect. We'll see.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. It's yeah. Maybe my palate's not sophisticated enough to try those, and IPAs. I cannot stand those. Those are the bane of my existence. Are those two beers?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I do like
it's
that.
you do.
Yeah, like I said, but
Yeah.
the sour, I'll be on the fence. I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see.
How is the craft beer scene down there in Florida? Is it pretty big?
It's actually pretty big down in South. So we're in South Florida,
Hmm.
Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. I'm actually in a town called Weston. There's a few breweries down here, but then when you go more central and northern Florida,
Hmm.
like Tampa, Jacksonville, I know there's quite a lot of craft breweries up there.
Hmm.
So that's cool. There's a lot of beer stores popping up everywhere here. World of Beer, where you can go try 1,000 different beers on tap. So it's fun. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. We need one of those here. That
If
would
you
really
do
awesome.
the one darker beer I like is it was a Ben and Jerry's limited edition release. I think they did it with Newcastle, but don't quote me on that.
Hmm.
It was like a fudge brownie. They do a limited edition for the holidays, and it was amazing. So if that comes out again, you definitely
Fudge
need to try
brownie.
that.
Wow. That really sounds good.
It
That
was
sounds
surprisingly
amazing.
good. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, oh. And then we went and bought a whole case of them.
What is on the horizon? What's the next big thing we can expect from the brand as far as you don't have to give away too specifics, or you
Yeah.
don't have to give away formula details, but what can be something consumers could expect?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, we got the multivitamin powder coming out within the next couple months. I really like that formula a lot.
Hmm.
We are going to add some additions to our Pure Steel line. We sort of launched it with just a Tria Pure, which is a creatine monohydrate, but to really make it its own little sub line of the brand, we'll be coming out with about 3 or 4
Yeah.
more Pure Steel products in the upcoming months.
Hmm.
CBD is a hot topic. We may or may not be coming out with something that's targeted towards that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be your conventional supplement though.
Hmm.
And then down the road, I can see some other products in the more general health and wellness. Some of the trends that are going on now.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that
That's
right
perfect.
now.
Yeah.
But
How many
yeah, we got
flavors are y'all launch? Or go ahead.
no, we got some exciting stuff coming up.
Excellent. How many flavors are y'all launching the multivitamin in?
We're launching with 3.
Three
So we
flavors.
do everything we launch is 3 standard.
Mm-hmm.
All these flavors are tailored towards breakfast
Mm-hmm.
drinks because I feel most people take their multivitamins in the morning
Yeah.
with breakfast. So our flavor profile is really good. I'm excited to see people's reactions when they
Interesting.
taste it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only powdered multivitamin I've ever had, I think, is the Animal Pack powder when they released it. When they first did the powder a few years ago, and that one, it was good, but it had some bite to it. So I can only imagine how challenging it is because I know how bad regular supplements are, like caffeine and stimulants and all that stuff. I don't even want to imagine how bad trying to flavor iron, magnesium, B vitamins, and all that other stuff is. It seems like a nightmare, just endless rinse and repeat with the flavor tech house.
That's what has been it's not an issue, but that's just what's been prolonging the launch just until we could nail it because that originally was going to be planned for the Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we weren't comfortable with it and I just didn't want to put it out there just to put it out there. But you're not going to have any copper or penny taste in your mouth when you take our vitamin. It's going to be good.
Now, every product that I've tried from y'all is very aggressive on the flavoring front. Was that a concerted decision made on your part that we don't want to have any mild or weak flavored things? We want, if somebody puts 20 ounces of water to this, we still want it to deliver that same amount of flavor.
That was one of my I am a flavor guy. Like I mentioned earlier, in Australia, one of my vices has been candy growing up.
Yeah.
I've been a lot better in my older age not to do it. So I am a big flavor connoisseur.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted the flavor to always pack a good punch, no matter what you put it in.
Yeah. Do you foresee nootropics ever verging into that category, or is that one of the ones that I would lump that in with keto? Is that there's and topicals to a lesser extent that I think the general public could benefit from it a considerable amount, but they just don't really have an idea. I mean, they will assume it's going to be something like Limitless, the Bradley Cooper movie, where it's just you're going to see colors bend and light refract and all these weird shapes and all of that stuff, but. I don't think that the average person knows what in the hell a nootropic is supposed to do.
I think you're right on there. I think the education, I think it will take off, if not next year and years to come.
Hmm.
I mean, it's already taken over the gaming industry
Yeah.
and some professionals, stuff like that, that people are really need to be dialed in and focused all day.
Right.
But I don't think your typical mom or dad that's just going to the gym every now and then
Hmm.
really understands the benefits that it could help them in just their everyday life. But I think that trend is going to move forward. And I think it's going to be pretty popular in the next year or two.
Yeah. Do you have much experience using them outside of the ones that are included in thermogenics or pre-workouts?
No, I really haven't done that much experience with them. Actually, I just met with a ingredient supplier last week. They were in our office,
Hmm.
and they actually have a nootropic form of ashwagandha
Hmm.
that they're sending me to sample. So that's going to be my real test on it, because we use ashwagandha in a lot of our products.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting for formulations of new products, hearing about this technology that they have. So
Hmm.
definitely looking forward to trying it out and reading a little more on it.
Are there any other ingredients that have been released within the past 12 to 18 months that have kind of piqued your interest aside from the nootropic ashwagandha that you just mentioned?
There's a lot of them. It's hard to just think off the top of my head, to be honest. And some of the ones that come to mind, I wouldn't want to throw out there just because I know some people aren't using them yet.
Yeah.
But like I said, the world is basically so small now with email and your phone.
Hmm.
So by going to these supply side West shows for the last few years, I built up some good relationships.
Yeah.
So whenever there's a new ingredient that comes out, I am sent information. So
Hmm.
I'm grateful for that. So I do know what's coming in advance and some stuff, and some of it we see that we can formulate, and some of it doesn't fit our brand
Hmm.
or our products. But I don't know. I'm not going to name any of the good ones that I've been reading
Yeah.
on now, but we do like to release a lot of products with some ingredients that basically no one has used before.
Hmm.
So
How much data or what is it about an ingredient that passes the bill with y'all and says, okay, this meets our our burden of proof that we find it valid and worthy to put in one of our products?
I would say our consultant, the scientist,
Yeah.
because I've sent them some stuff that I thought off the top of the head after going through all the white papers and the research and sales sheets that I thought it was good,
Hmm.
but he really gives us the final approval. So he shot down a couple ones that I thought were amazing, and then he's brought to my attention some other ones that I wasn't aware of as well.
Yeah.
So he's basically our final thumbs up, thumbs down guy.
Nice. Is there uh would you feel comfortable mentioning any of the ones that he's rejected that people may think is a good ingredient, but in actuality it's a bit overblown?
To be honest, I don't remember. I know he's only rejected about two I've sent him,
Hmm.
but I know he's brought to our attention a lot of great ones.
Yeah.
But sometimes in today's day and age, a lot of consumers they want products that work, obviously, but they want products that are very cheap,
Yeah.
and you just can't manufacture a good product and get the price point that some of these people are willing to pay. So he's brought some really amazing ingredients, and then we bring it to our manufacturer,
Hmm.
and like one ingredient alone is going to add $13 to a bottle, and it's like we just can't justify that, you know?
Yeah. I'm finding that is, as much as people want to scream for quality and full doses and open label and all of that, when it comes down to the average consumer, I think they're still more inclined to go for the bargain bin products than they are to actually understand and recognize quality and be willing to pay that extra premium. They're willing to do it with organic foods and wild grass fed oat milked goats and all of this other nonsense. But when it comes to dietary supplements, it's still something they're putting in their body, but they still want the bottom, rung of the ladder right there.
Yeah, like I said, I think it just comes down to education. I do see the trend going more towards premium supplements.
Hmm.
And that's what we're always going to stick by is making I call them premium supplements with our ingredient profiles and what we put in them.
Right.
And I think in time, the trend is going to catch on to that because everyone cares about their body.
Hmm.
And people want to put good stuff in. So I think there'll be a time where all these products that you can buy a pre-workout for $10 for 60 servings, I don't think those days are going to be around much longer.
Yeah. Probably not. Do you
Yeah.
Do y'all thrive mostly with the online market, with social media marketing, direct to sales, or is it brick and mortar?
So actually, we made a big business decision when we basically got into the supplements that we were not going to sell to any distributors.
Mm-hmm.
So we do everything direct to consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So that means our website, Amazon, and then we will sell to brick and mortar chains that call us up. We do have a lot that reach out to us to buy direct, so we will supply them. But then also through Protan, we have a lot of connections internationally.
Right.
So we have a lot of international partners that are doing the same business model as us,
Mm-hmm.
but over in say like South Africa, Australia. So they're actually setting up an online direct to consumer business too,
Mm-hmm.
selling direct and then fulfilling say gyms or stores as well, like we do here.
Yeah.
So basically all online. So social media and marketing
Mm-hmm.
is very important to us.
Gotcha. Do y'all find the trade shows beneficial to go to? As I've heard about an even mix of, yeah, it's really good for our brand to help get the word out, and other companies I've talked to, they'll say it's more, it's for the fans. We actually it's a loss for us on this. We don't actually make a whole lot on the thing. So how do y'all view it, and how does the shows go for y'all?
It's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
What every company is saying, I think it goes like that across the board.
Mm-hmm.
If companies are making a lot of money in the trade show, and good for them, but it is all about branding.
Yeah.
We go there with the idea that look, we're going there, we represent our brand, our products, we're there to educate new consumers,
Mm-hmm.
and to give our current ones great deals. I feel like trade shows are great for us. We get a lot of new customers from them.
Mm-hmm.
And we do sample, like we were talking about our flavors. I love our flavors. So when we sample our drinks at the trade show,
Yeah.
that's what sells it there. So we can get 1,000 people that might have never tried our supplement,
Mm-hmm.
and then they become a customer just from the trade show. So you can't look at it like a short-term loss. You got to look at the long-term picture, what distributors you meet, what countries, and what comes out of that.
Yeah.
So we used to do a lot more, but we have cut it down.
Mm-hmm.
So we only do like the Arnold, the Olympia, the Europas, LA Fit Expo. We're just trying to be smart with our marketing dollars towards it. But I don't see anything bad against the trade shows. I mean, I don't like setting up for 2 days before that.
Yeah.
But besides that, they're fine.
Gotcha. What is, I guess, your role when you're there at the trade shows? Just to interact with consumers, or are you more in the backdoor meetings off floor? I mean, I know when we met on the floor at the Arnold, but what's your typical role at the meetings or at the
So yeah, my role at the trade show is basically to run and manage the booth. Mm-hmm. So I'll fly out there a couple of days early. I'll set up the booth. I'm very like OCD about
Mm-hmm.
stuff, so I like it to be set up properly. I like to get there a couple of days early.
Yeah.
Make sure everything's good. And then God forbid you get there and you're missing something. You give yourself time that you can overnight it or second day air it. But then I'm just there basically managing our staff, talking with customers, consumers, education. Mm-hmm. Meetings, my father and our salesman, Monty, mm-hmm. they'll mainly handle those international meetings. But then if there's product education questions or anything, I'll join the meetings like that. But mainly I'm just making sure the trade show runs well and that everyone in our booth is representing the brand properly.
Yeah. What do y'all look for in an athlete when y'all decide to bring somebody onto the team?
So we look for people that, first of all, are authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So people that actually use our products, that believe in our products. And then just people with the same morals as us. We have our team, we don't have many athletes. We have about 8 to 9 core athletes, but then we do have a lot of ambassadors or affiliates, for lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. They're just all people that really just believe in the brand. We're not we don't care if you have 1,000 followers, 10,000, or 2 million followers. We want people that truly believe in the products and that hold themselves well, that go to the gym, people admire them, they look up to them for advice, mm-hmm. and that they just maintain our standard that we live by every day. So yeah. It's good. We do get a lot of people that reach out and say, "Oh, I'd love to represent your brand." Mm-hmm. And then we ask them if they've ever used our product, and when the answer is no, and it's like, yeah, no. We want people to actually use our products.
Yeah, I feel bad for you guys on the brand side that get the emails from people. I mean, it's in a way it's nice that they're reaching out, that they want to be sponsored by you, but at the same time, there's something in the back of your mind that knows that this is really just a cash grab on their part. They're probably sending the same email to 10 other companies saying, "Hey, sponsor me. I love you guys." And it's just, Just it's being disingenuous.
Yeah, well, we've been doing it for a long time for obviously protein, even now with the steel. But we've gotten some of those cookie cutter emails where they forget to switch the brand name
Yeah.
out. It's like, oh, I'd love to be a part of team, and then it's another supplement company, and I'm like, all right, junk.
Y'all should post those to social media and say example one on how not to get sponsored by a brand. Just but you block out the person's contact information, but just say future submissions. Make sure you got your shit together when you're talking to us.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, we do get a lot of people that reach out every day, which a lot of people actually use our products too,
Yeah.
which it makes us feel good as a team.
Hmm.
But we also don't want to have so many people on there because our social media manager and athlete manager, Andrea, she does a great job.
Yeah.
And she's very personable
Hmm.
with all our athletes and affiliates. Her phone's always open to them. She's like a big sister to some of them, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have that we're a family business, and I feel like that comes through with everything that we do.
Hmm.
Um, People are really like they really just love what we're all about, and they love that they can actually talk to a company and a person in a company, and not just send a message and not get a response. So
Right.
we pride ourselves on that. And as we grow, we're going to need to have more people to continue to have that one-on-one touch, which I think is lacking in a lot of just not even
Hmm.
the supplement industry. I think just a lot of brands in general.
Yeah.
I think that they don't engage with the consumer on a personal level, and I think it's going to be the kiss of death at some point.
Yeah, I would agree. Who is the ideal consumer for SteelFit?
Depends on the product.
Hmm.
Like I said, we started off with the competitors because it went hand in hand with the protein.
Right.
But now we have consumers, we have products for anybody. I mean, we have the consumers from the mom that just had a baby that's looking to lose some weight to the guy that just got off a shoulder injury that's just getting back in the gym for the first time. And then we also have people, professional athletes that use our products. We have Olympians, competitors. So everybody, I think our products are made for everybody.
Fantastic. All right, I'm going to give you
Yeah.
some. We're going to go through some rapid fire ones in
All
closing
right, let's
things
do
out
this.
here. What was the first supplement you ever tried?
Muscle Tech. It was the creatine. I
Oh, the
forget the name.
Celtec.
The Celtec,
Celtec.
the blue raspberry that burned my throat like no tomorrow. Well, I was in high school, and that was all the rage. I mean, everybody was taking that,
Yeah.
and you'd load up on it because you didn't know anything back then. You're
Hmm.
16 years old, and your esophagus would just burn like no tomorrow.
Oh man, what other supplements did y'all use in high school since you were involved with athletics?
So you know what's actually funny? I really never took that many supplements
Hmm.
growing up in high school or even in college, just because I don't know the quality. Like I had that bad experience with the Celtec burning my throat, and I
Hmm.
was like, I don't know if I really want to take anything else. And then I got to college. I would do protein shakes here and there, but it would
Hmm.
always give me upset stomachs. And back when I was in college, that's when like pro hormones were getting huge, and I had a lot of friends
Yeah.
in my fraternity that would take it and didn't really have good responses to it. A lot of them, some of them actually got really sick.
Hmm.
And so I just wouldn't like, I stayed away. So that was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to start my own supplement company and make products that were safe and efficacious because I've seen firsthand what some of this stuff can do to you.
Hmm.
And I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest challenge for you so far in growing the brand?
I think it's like we were talking about earlier, just education.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people in this world, and there's a lot of people that will always put down the ingredients you put in. There's always people that are going to have a rebuttal or try and throw you under. And
Hmm.
it's just, I think, just getting over that hump and just standing behind everything and just educating new consumers
Yeah.
and educating people that might not be familiar with your brand, just gaining their trust. That's what it comes down to. And I think we were very lucky with our Abs of Steel as a stepping stone
Hmm.
because a lot of people are skeptical. They're still skeptical. People are always going to be skeptical of a topical cream.
Yeah.
But I think once they tried it and they saw, oh my God, this really works. Their supplements must be great
Yeah.
too.
Hmm.
I think that it's like I call it the gateway drug. Abs of Steel, they like try Abs of Steel and then they get hooked on the brand and then they try all other products and then it's just continuing education and just getting new customers.
Would you say the ideal candidate for Abs of Steel is somebody that's already relatively lean and is just a few percentage points away from having that defined midsection, or can it benefit people that are even bigger?
Oh, I think it benefits everyone. Obviously, when you're super lean, 3 or 4% body fat as it is,
Yeah.
you're going to notice the results a lot quicker.
Hmm.
But it's great for everyone. I mean, we have people that'll take it that might be 40 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight,
Hmm.
but they feel it, they start to see the results, and it's motivation.
Hmm.
And I always tell my wife, like like when I read our reviews, because I'm on, she tells me to get off my phone all the time. I don't know if you have the same issue, because I'm always just, I can't like disconnect from everything.
Uh-huh.
It's like in bed in the morning, the first thing I do is wake up and I like read all the reviews that came in from the day before and everything. And it just makes me feel really good, like to see the positive impact that we're having
Hmm.
on people's lives. And like sometimes I'll show her these reviews and she thinks I'm like corny, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I like helping people reach their goals, because when I graduated college, like you said, I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
I did a little too much partying, and I was like 250 at my biggest point.
Whoa.
I'm only 6'3", so 250. I was pretty big, and it took me a long time of just diet and exercise and everything to
Hmm.
get to where I am today. So I know the struggle.
Hmm.
I know what people are going through, and when I can help someone else like achieve that goal and feel what I felt,
Hmm.
then that just makes me really happy.
Fantastic. Uh,
Yeah.
Favorite flavor of the pre-workouts? What's your favorite flavor of
Oh,
the three?
grape soda is my favorite. Oh,
Okay.
so I got grape soda for pump.
Hmm.
I got watermelon lemonade for fuel,
Okay.
and then I have strawberry mango for the sweat.
And what
I
about
mean, I like every.
yeah, I was gonna say
Oh, and then
that's
the protein,
yeah, the protein. What's your one for protein too?
strawberry in my oats, chocolate for the shake, and then vanilla for baking. So I can't discriminate; they're all good.
Do you do the protein
And then
baking
for
or does your
Sandy,
wife?
the chocolate strawberry for Sandy.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. Her and her mixing, her mixology that she does with those.
No, I'll do the baking. I'll make waffles and stuff like that. But if you
Yeah.
check out my dad's Instagram, he's a Mr. Protein.
Yeah.
Him and his wife do a lot of baking. They get creative with some cookies and some stuff like that
Yeah.
using the protein. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Rob, this has been a blast, man. Thank you so much for being generous with your time. Thank you for the continued friendship we've established over the past few years since I've gotten to know you. And do you feel free to do any kind of pitch where people can reach you, follow the brand, and why people should choose SteelFit?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I can call you a friend, which I think is really great. You're one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and I think you do a
Thanks.
lot for the supplement industry as a whole. I don't think people give you enough credit, but there's a lot of stuff I think you do behind the scenes that people don't notice. So I just wanted to thank you for everything with that. I think some of your articles probably educated me when I was climbing the ranks. I didn't even know it was you.
I
But
appreciate
I
it,
think
man.
I think the podcast. Hopefully, I came through with my pitch through the podcast. I don't really want to sell anybody on anything,
Hmm.
but they can always follow us on Instagram at SteelFit USA, see what we're about, and then hopefully they decide to try our products. So that's basically it. And if they're at a trade show, stop by, say hi to me. I always like to meet fans. So
Cool. Fantastic, Rob. Well, thank you again for everything today. Happy birthday again. Uh,
no, thank
and have a great rest of the weekend.
you as well. Thanks, Robert. Have a good one.
You too.